It's been said that 5th gen seats fit in a 3rd gen Camaro. We shall see.
Hey, what's up guys? So I've been meaning to make this video for a while, and I apologize to all the guys. I said I'm gonna put a video out soon regarding the 5th gen seat install on a 3rd gen Camaro. So I wanted to start putting that together and put together some information on how you can get some 5th gen seats. And I think for the most part this applies to 6th gen as well. Essentially, because I think the 5th and 6th are very similar in terms of the bottom and how it's shaped. The main reason it makes it a little difficult to put the 5th gen seats in is the floor on the 5th gens are pretty flat, and the 3rd gens obviously is kind of like this. So if you just make brackets to kind of line up to the holes, and you will have to fabricate and weld brackets to get these seats in, by the way. If you do it, then you just have to be aware that especially the driver's side seat wants to tilt inwards towards the center console. Now, I used a buddy of mine, Tim Walters. He built the set of brackets that I have. He also built his, and he started selling them as well. So if you want to buy some, where to get those? He's a one-man shop. You know, he fabricated them, and then he basically templated them so he can kind of make them now. I think he makes them in batch of 5 or 10. So if you reach out to him, be patient. But they work great because he took the time to kind of fabricate them and get the seats where you don't feel like you're kind of leaning in. So they feel really good. I also wanted to address a couple things in this video on how they look and most importantly, how they fit in a 3rd gen car, 3rd gen Camaro and Firebird. One of the things is, if you're a tall guy, like I'm 6 foot, if you're 6'1" above, probably not the seats for you, unless you get the cushion shaved. I think the seats actually power down further than the 3rd gen seats, but they're still up a little bit more. So for me, they're totally fine. Like I said, I'm 6 foot, totally cool. And what I love about them and how they fit is the headrest is actually at the head. You know, I hated my 3rd gen, I'm gonna be honest. I hated my 3rd gen seats, and ever since I got the car, I've been thinking about what seats to put in it. I was looking at the Carbos, or however you say them, getting those, and they actually come with an option because they kind of sit high too. They come with the option of getting the foam seat cushion shaved as well. So I think, you know, that's pretty typical when you're looking at some different seats going in a 3rd gen. You know, you don't have a lot of headroom. It's a small confined area. But man, like I said, I love how the 5th gen seats feel. I could definitely do a long trip now in the car. Before, I always felt like, you know, my back was hurting. I didn't really have any support, any bolster, anything like that. And my car, for those of you who've seen my car, you know, I built it for some pretty high horsepower, you know, not crazy, you know, horsepower like some of the big turbo and ProCharger guys are. But, you know, it's probably 470 to 500 at the wheels. To me, that's just a really fun street number. It's safe. If it starts raining outside, I got decent tires to be able to handle the rain. And my plan with the car was just freaking drive it and enjoy it, and have, you know, something that's pretty good horsepower, but also, you know, I don't mind getting caught in the rain. You know, to me, anything above 700, you know, that's fun when the whoosh kicks in, but, you know, I'm not driving that bitch to South Carolina. That was one of my things. So the seats for my build really worked out well. They're heavier. So if you're trying to lighten your car, probably not the seats for you. For me, comfort trumps weight. That's just the way, that's my build. So you just have to ask yourself what's important to you. You know, get your Kirky, get, you know, whatever you want for the light stuff, and everything in between. But they're definitely a little bit heavier. But again, they just feel good, man. I feel like I'm just in comfort. You know, I got the bolster, it holds me in there without crazy bolstering. Like I can get in the car in and out very easily. And I had a 5th gen, so with the SS leather, the leather seats, just, you know, I always loved them. And I love the way they sort of reclined and you know, went back. And man, I like to tilt it back a little bit, and I like to put it back a little bit, my seat back. But when I'm driving it pretty spirited, I like to put the seat forward and like be right there with the steering wheel. So man, the power seat function is like, I can get it perfect for me. And I have a little bit of lower back issues, so that's just something that I was really concerned about with the car. And so that's something that I just felt like the 5th gen seats fit that bill. Now, I picked these seats up for a little under $400 for both seats for the leather. Electric, leather, heated, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, I picked those seats up for like $400. And I found them on eBay, and it was actually a salvage yard around Lakeland area, which is probably an hour or so from Tampa. Drove over there with a buddy of mine and picked them up. And, you know, then I figured out, oh, there's going to take some fabrication. And I'm not a big welder or fabricator, you know. So luckily, you know, I'm good friends with Tim. So the other thing is the heated seats. So the heated seats were designed as a body control module. So in a 5th gen Camaro, you have, you know, a network of components, and that module is part of that system. And so part of the control and the way it operates, you know, when you get into a modern car and you turn the heated seats on, there's different levels. And if you turn it on high, it's smart enough to kind of bring itself back after a certain time. And that's to protect the leather, and probably safety precautions as well. You may be able to put some type of voltage to it and get it to work. I don't know. I don't think you can. I don't think that's a good way of doing that. But if you guys know of a way to do that with the current one, hey, let me know. I couldn't do it. I couldn't figure out how to do it. And I've seen the schematics, and it seems like there's another piece. Even though my car is a LS3 swapped, I have, you know, basically the computer that comes out of, very similar to the Camaro. Mine's a E67, so it's more the GM performance parts as opposed to the E38. But it's still, you're not going to be able to get that to talk to it, and it's just not worth it. So what I would suggest, if you really want the heated and the cool seats, is probably get an aftermarket kit. Like, you know, if you go to like Catskins or leatherseats.com, I'm sure there's stuff out there on Amazon. Get a universal kit and, you know, use that. So that's probably what I would suggest for that. And you're probably going to have to take off the seat cushion and some of the covers and that sort of thing. So the way the power seats work, it's really simple. There's a positive and negative that come up to the main control for the switch panel on the side of the seat. So you'll see 2 big wires, right? They're probably 8 or 10 or 12 gauge. I think they're either 12 or 10 gauge, but you'll see a difference. There's 2 wires that comes out. Those are, and I'll show you when I pull my seats out, those are the 2 wires that you just provide power, and I would do a fused power to that. Fused power The negative, the ground, I basically ran that to the seat, one of the seat studs in the floorboard. So that's your ground, right? So power seats are really easy. So power seats, you know, no brainer. Heated seats, you're gonna have to figure something out for those heating and cooling seats. So that's kind of the you know, some of the functions of, you know, those modern seats. So like I said, I love the comfort. The headrest is like right on your head and it's adjustable. You know, some people say, oh, your seats are too high for the car. Well, the headrest is at my head. So yeah, I mean, I can't help it because the car top is so low. Yeah, the seat fits me, right? Now, if I'm 4'8", okay, or 5 foot tall, nothing against short people, I'm just using that as a reference. That fits you, that's fine. But, you know, anybody taller than 5'8", 5'10", you know, the headrest is like here and it's back here, so you can't really even use it. It's just useless. So, yeah, they sit tall, but that's where your head is. The seats are wide though. They just fit between the door handle and the console, and there's just a little bit of rubbing there. So know that the seats are going to rub somewhere in between the console and your door handle. So it's a little bit of a tight fit there. It definitely moves back and forth really easy. It's just, you know, there is a little bit of friction there. It does fit. It doesn't slow it down in terms of power maneuvers or anything like that. So it is a wide, tight fit in there. So the seat is big for the car. Definitely, I'll give you that. But man, once you get it in there, you get your power set right, it's a magical thing, man. I get excited about it just because I just, you know, I love that part of my car. Like, you know, it's LS3 swapped, it's got a 6-speed, it's got, you know, nice wheels. It's one of my favorite mods I've done to the car. And, you know, I didn't break the bank doing it. So anyway, that's kind of an intro to the second part of this video, where I'm actually going to pull them out, kind of go through like what the brackets look like, what the Tim Waters brackets look like, and also, you know, how to wire them, some of the wires that come with them. You will have to prep the bottom of it, and I'll go through that as well, the bottom of the seats. There's a couple little studs you got to make sure you just kind of clean off, a couple little small brackets with a grinding wheel. Super easy. It takes like 10 minutes. So if you got a angle grinder, that's all you need, and a cutoff wheel, and just, you know, a little bit of, you know, just go ahead and make some sparks there and get those kind of cleaned up. So I think I have some pictures of that as well. I'll kind of put in there because obviously I didn't video installing it. So I'm kind of going to do, hey, here's how I did it, and walk you through it. So anyway, I kind of wanted to give you a little bit of an intro here on how and why I did them, and some of the other questions that always come up in terms of, you know, heated, and do they fit, and, you know, how do they sit, how they feel. So anyway, let's get to that next part. Hey guys, all right, now I got myself in the car. You know, I'm still kind of working out the interior on this car. The interior is going to be kind of my last project, so definitely some things I need to get. I really want some new carpet, nice padding, sound deadening, all that good stuff. But like I said, the seats were one of the most important things that I wanted to hurry up and get done, and so that's kind of why I did this. So here I am, you know, I'm in the seats, and you can see here, all nice mounted, you know, nice and comfortable. I have some bolsters here, you can kind of see, holding my fat ass in. So, you know, they definitely just kind of fit me perfect. And, you know, it's definitely, it's one of those things where, you know, I got, you know, the adjustability. You can see here, I kind of move up. When I get myself a little bit more further up, I can kind of kick back. I normally don't drive too far too back, but you know, and then you can't see it here, but I kind of tilt the legs up a little bit too, just to kind of support underneath my legs here. And you know, now I'm ready to hit the road. I'm ready to go to San Diego, baby, from Tampa. So this is kind of me. This is, you know, and you know what? I'm telling you the truth here. Sometimes I come out in the garage and I just sit in these seats, just to sit in them, because you know, I'll come out here and check, you know, Brian Johnson's group, Thirdgen Camaro and Firebird, his Facebook group, and you know, I'm sitting there, you know, having fun in that group, and also in the LSX Swap Thirdgen group. Those are like my two go-to ones. You know, I'm sitting in there and just, you know, on my phone. My wife sometimes, she'll come out here and go, "Who are you talking to?" Like, no, I'm just, look, it's car guys, man. I'm just like, here's pictures of cars, you know, that's kind of what I'm doing here. But I just enjoy being in the car now, you know, and just kind of hanging out. You can see here my head is right up against, and then, you know, I got plenty of stuff here. Of course, I got the seat back a little bit, but you know, it's definitely for me, like I said, you know, if you're 6 foot or under, I feel like it's a great seat for you. I'll have to see some of my taller friends get in the seat and kind of see what they say, and maybe do a kind of a follow-up, or maybe I'll put something in the comments, or if some of you guys are taller, done these seats, maybe you can put that in the comments as well. Anyway, enough about that. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this driver's seat out and show you kind of what the setup looks like. So let's do that. All right, so here we are at the first bolt. You can kind of see where I'm at here. Let's get you a 13 millimeter. Now this is the stud that's on the stock seat. So you can see here there's a bolt. If I can get the light maybe better on this bracket setup, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. It's got a little button head bolt here that bolts to the bracket, and then the bracket just extends out to your stud there. Okay, so that's kind of what we're dealing with on this one. So on the other side, you don't have a bracket for this one. It's using your same stud. So this one actually lines up to your stock stud on the inside of the seat here. There's one we were looking at, and on the inside front one, you just use existing. Then on the two back ones, and I'll show you that in a minute. There's one. I'll do this other one. Now we'll go to the back. Okay, here is the next one. This is the one by the console in the back, and then here's the other one here, and this is the one I actually have the ground to for the power C cable, and then the power is underneath here. So you got a bracket again on this side. It kind of extends. These seats are wider, so the bracket kind of brings you into the stud. And here's the one on this side. Interior is dirty as hell. Sorry about that. But you get the point. All right, let's go ahead and get that. that one. Yeah. That one's done too. Okay, now we got that out. I kind of got the seat sort of tilted upside down, and you can kind of see. And I'll also put some pictures of some of the brackets. So first of all, you can see this is the bracket here that was created, and this just bolts on right through here where the stock stud was. Then you got the front one. So this is an extension that ties in this one to the inner stud. You got that bracket, and again, there's no bracket on this side, which you can't see here because of the, unless I tilt the seat up, but it's against the seatbelt thing, so I'll just leave it there. And then the rear bracket on this side is very similar to this one. That's the one that was kind of fabbed up as well. And this is your main harness here. And when you pull that out, you're gonna see two, again, they're like 10 or 12 gauge wire. They're thicker than the rest of them. Just put power and ground to that. And all of a sudden, now you've got your power seats here that recline, lift your seat up, tilt it back, all kinds of cool stuff. So that's it. Now, before you put these brackets on, and Tim will tell you how to do that, specifically, there's a few things that you have to do. This here had a little bracket that it raised the seat up in the 5th gen. You'll have to cut, you can see here where I cut this off. It was basically a little small stand-up bracket, maybe a ½ inch, that brought the seat up. So you just have to trim that, pretty easy. Same on the other side. And then there's a couple pegs. One of the pegs can just unscrew on one side, and the other peg, and I think I have one of those, so give me a second here. All right, cool. I actually found some of the pieces that I cut off. See, that's why I don't throw away anything. So this piece here, again, was just a little bracket, and it went right here, and that's part of the system of the 5th gen. You want to cut that off. The other thing which I don't have is, it did have like these little hooks. The way the 5th gen is, they almost slide into these hooks that are on the front, slide into basically a retainer bracket that has a little bolt on it. And so the first thing you do on a 5th gen is you slide that bracket up, then the back just bolts down. So you'll have to cut that off. So cut the hook off. You'll see that on your seats. Trim off these little brackets here, right? And this is the pins. So the way it's designed is, I don't know if it's on this side or the other side, but one side has a screw in, so you can just unscrew that. Bam, you got it. And the other side, it's on a bracket, and you'll have to cut that one off. So very minimal cutting that has to happen. And once you do, the whole idea is just to get the flat rail. That's all you want to do. So when you look at the rail, it's flat, that's cool. Keep this piece here. So that sticks up a little bit, but it's kind of level with this, what's remaining here on this bracket, which was left over from the hooks. This is kind of where the hook was. So that's fine there. So cut the hook off, cut these off, and cut the other one of this, and then the other side just screws out. Bam, that's it. Bolt Tim's brackets on. I literally bolted these on and had them in the car in like 15 minutes. It just, bam, it fit right in there. It was pretty cool. So that's kind of an overview of getting this stuff set up and installed. Hope that's helpful for you guys. And, you know, let me know in the comments if you have any more questions or something else, other aspect you want me to cover.